Somebody coughed on the airplane, so here we are. I hope you enjoy this final installment of TNT. That's Travis and Tyler. Me, Travis Patton from Airgun Depot, and Tyler Patner from Pyramid Air. We're bringing you 3 hot topics today. Will higher-end PCPs become priced more competitively? What would we change about the airgun industry? And what is the worst named airgun? Hope you enjoy! So that's an interesting way of putting it, right? How high-end guns will get priced more competitively.
Yeah, does that mean how will we get more high-end guns priced at the same point, or how will we get more high-end guns priced at a lower point? I'm not sure which way to take that, but what's high-end to you?
So, I mean, I think, typically, over 10, over 1,000, $1,200 is kind of the threshold.
So $1,000
for me. I mean, we could say $1,000.
Okay, all right. So 1,000. I'll go with that. Yeah, I could say that. All right. So I think the only way that question can go is how do you get what we're seeing in $2,000 guns more palatable, right? Into $1,000 to $1,500 price points, and I think you're already starting to see that. In all honesty, I mean, FX is this big bad player in the market, right, in terms of high-end guns. And you're already seeing with the Dreamline and the various versions of the Dreamline, a lot of the same features that are in the Impact and in the Crown at a much lower price point. Which then begs the question, why are you still selling the Impact and the Crown? I'm not saying they shouldn't sell the Impact and the Crown, by the way. There are reasons. But, I mean, that's really what we're kind of starting to see, right? I mean, you have... Air Arms has now put regulators in all of their guns, and now you have like a base model S510XS with a kind of plain Jane poplar stock for right around $1,000 to $1,100, where a couple of years ago that gun didn't even have a regulator and was $1,200, $1,300. So, I think you're seeing more manufacturers kind of realizing not that they have to cost cut, but that they have to keep the quality where it's at and add features and bring it to the market at a price point that is, right around that $1,000 mark, or else, hey, you're not going to move very many.
Yeah. I mean, the question is, too, can you get it lower than that?
Sure. Ooh. And that's a tough one. I think, honestly, a lot of it has to do with what the market will bear. Without knowing how much it makes or how much it costs to make some of these guns, we'll never be able to say for sure because, I mean, we all may be getting taken for a ride on a lot of this stuff. But if you were able to, I don't know if you could.
I mean, the problem is where they're being made.
I mean,
you're comparing, if you try and compare, the cost of something made in China, where to get the exact same thing made in a European country, I mean, the exact same product. Yeah. Is just going to cost so much more.
Oh, absolutely.
But and so you're looking at just the manufacturing cost, just materials, labor, everything else like that. But then you also have the quality control is completely different.
Well, would the market even consider a $1,000 Chinese gun?
It would just have to be phenomenal. It would have to outperform. It would be...
Prove that to me, though. That's going to be the question. It's like, why would I buy $1,000 this made in China when I can get $1,000, Air Arms, FX, you pick it, right? Yeah. BSA made here. It just, I don't know if that's a conversation.
Because you've got, when you get into that high end, that sort of luxury air gun level, I mean, the feel is just so different. I mean, you can buy your $400, $500, $600 gun and be happy with it.
Absolutely.
Get good accuracy out of it. Have a lot of fun shooting, but don't shoot $1,000 or a $2,000 PCP.
Yeah,
if you want to keep enjoying it the way you did before.
No, that's a really good point. I mean, oftentimes, like the example I give people is, they're used to their $1,000 gun, and then you put them behind a $2,000 gun or a $3,000 gun. Something with don't get me wrong, a 6-ounce trigger is a match trigger most of the time. But on a lot of the 10-meter precision guns, like the Olympic quality stuff, 6 ounces they don't even go that high. Like you're talking about 2 to 3 ounces out of the box, and with a wall that anybody could feel. So you put that in somebody's hands, and it's completely just bursts their opinion of what they have. So yeah, it's all that perspective of what are you shooting right now. So if anything's better than $100 brake barrel, right? You know, you hand somebody a gauntlet and they're hitting a spinner out at 75 yards all day, and they're just going to be happy as heck, you know. And the same thing goes for that gauntlet owner that then gets put a Marauder or a Marauder to, you know, a Dreamline. I mean, it's just that evolution, right?
You know, a lot of it is a little slightly more intangible, right? Slightly less tangible, where it's just the overall feel, the quality, the way it holds, the way it's easier to shoot. You know, the cocking lever, if it's side lever, is going to be smoother. It's just going to feel good. The trigger's going to, you know, and those are things that just take time. They take development going into them to get them perfect.
Oh yeah.
You know, you've got to have high quality control. So I mean, there's a lot of things that just don't, you just can't keep pushing down.
Yeah. So I think to bring it all back, right? I think that $1,000 high-end mark is where that $1,000 high-end mark is going to be. I don't think that that's going to come down. I think you're going to see more value and more adjustability be put into guns that are priced over that. And I don't just mean the ergonomics of the gun. I mean, you know, there's one company right now that has an externally adjustable regulator, an FX. Somebody else has to be able to do that, right? You know, some of those types of features are going to start to get put onto other brands of guns, and that's really what you're going to start seeing in that $1,500 to $2,000 price point is going to expand, because all of a sudden manufacturers are starting to realize, well, we're selling all these $1,000 guns. They can't shoot this $1,000 gun forever. What's next? So you have to have that generation, you know, that improvement in your lineup as a manufacturer, I believe. So, you know, it's really going to be upon each individual airgun manufacturer to continue to improve upon themselves and keep up with their competition.
And it is exciting to see the developments. I mean, even now, you know, you can look like the Brocock airguns that have a Lothar Walther poly barrel.
Sure.
You know, really at a pretty affordable price. I mean, the first time that I know of that sort of barrel's been, you know, on a gun in that price range.
Well, so that's an interesting thing as well. I mean, a poly barrel is you look at it as a consumer, right? I could buy a Lothar Walther barrel for like $170, whether it's a poly barrel or a standard button, you know, rifle barrel. So I don't look at it that. I mean, the benefits of a poly barrel are absolutely there. I think that's an answer to a separate question, though, right? And that's how do we give a shooter a better advantage in the wind, right? And that's really what that poly barrel is trying to do.
But the point is that this has always been kind of like the top of the line barrel, really reserved for. Obviously, you know, you may disagree that it's the end all and be all in barrels.
I do.
But it's typically only found on, you know.
Well, like a Raw. Raw has been using them
example,
for a few years, yeah. But the poly barrel hasn't been prevalent up until the last, I would say, 3 to 4 years. So there were people playing with them, but not at a mass manufactured scale. So I think it's going to be a thing, absolutely. And taking a different look at rifling a barrel is definitely going to be a thing. It's not just FX anymore that's doing it. So I think that's part of a separate conversation about how do we add value into our air guns that you can't necessarily get anywhere else. So I think more manufacturers are going to start doing that, and I think it's part of that conversation of how do we add that value into our air gun that's already at a pretty high price point. But I don't think it's the next frontier, personally. I mean, and you're more than welcome to disagree. You know, I think Smooth Twist turned the airgun world on its head a little bit when it was originally announced, and now we're starting to see what everybody's been working on to counteract that. Well, not counteract, but everybody's answer to that. Yeah. I would go back and change what I now term as the velocity wars, which actually started well before I got into the airgun industry. But this effort, right, that we now see to market a gun at 1,600 feet per second. Yeah, with a lightweight alloy pellet that's never going to hit anything.
And now the velocity wars are different from the marketing velocity wars, right?
To me, it's the same. I don't care that you're making a gun that is 60-pound cocking effort, and hard to shoot accurately, and kicks like a mule. I don't care. If that's what you want to make, fine. Do not tell people to use ammo that is going to break the gun. That's just like ridiculous to me. I don't care that you want that high number on your box. Be a realist. Like, I like to think of myself as a realist. I don't want to sell people dreams and crush their hopes when they find out they're not true. But having worked in our call center at Pyramid Air for a couple of years when I started, I know people call up and go, I want that 1,500 foot per second, this or that. And then I have the great displeasure of trying to explain to them why they don't want that, because it's not going to be accurate, because it's going to break the sound barrier and be loud. I would have gone back and just Thanos snapped that out of existence before it started, because maybe it was good for Airguns and Walmart, and maybe it brought people into Airguns, but I bet you it's also turned off a ton of people to Airguns. They bought an Airgun, and it didn't do what they expected it to, or it was super loud because of breaking the speed of sound, or it wasn't accurate, and they'll never pick one up again, and I hate that. So yeah, that's what I would have gone back and changed, is just that whole like race to the highest velocity. Like, let's talk about the things that actually matter: energy, and accuracy.
If I could change anything about the airgun industry, I would make it bigger. And I think, more sales. I would like more awareness.
Sure, yeah.
In the public of what an airgun is. Some of my good friends still think I work in the airsoft business.
Sure.
I mean, it's like,
there is a difference if you don't realize.
There's a
Nothing
huge
wrong
difference.
with airsoft, by the way. Yeah.
I wish people understood what airguns are capable of, and the accuracy, the power, everything that we love about airguns.
Yeah.
I wish there was more perception of that.
They were like mainstream. Yeah, run into the same thing. I mean, it's going to like the NRA convention every year. You get people like we set out a dragon claw on the table and we stick an air bolt in the end of it because like it just catches people's eye, and you get like inevitably you're like, is that a triple barrel shotgun? No, it's an air gun. What do you mean? You got to explain it. But I will say every year I'm amazed at how many more people seem to catch on and at least know what they are. They'll have seen a hunting segment on a TV show or on YouTube or something. It's growing, but I agree. I mean, it would be amazing if the airgun industry was like the firearms industry, and that it was like completely mainstream, and that it was a normalcy. You know what I mean? Yeah, I agree.
The worst named airgun is the Umarex NPR SEX or something like that. I can never remember.
NXG, APX NXG.
Yeah.
The multi-pump.
Yeah.
Okay, the youth multi-pump.
But you couldn't say that name again because it's
APX NXG, NXG APX.
And as you guys notice, he didn't say it the same way the second time.
I'm actually not sure which way it's supposed to be pronounced.
Oh, I didn't know if you'd said it the same way or not. I have no idea. I mean, that name is unrememberable.
He has audio dyslexia, so if you start saying letters, he starts jobbling them around in his mind.
I think you said audial, which is not a word.
Are you sure?
I'm pretty sure.
It might be.
So what is your worst named airgun?
Wow, is that really not a word?
There's audible, audio, audiophile.
I'm going to give that to the crawl
auditory.
Equinox, because I think,
they misspelled it?
They were going for equinox, but they misspelled it. I don't know. EKINOKS. What does that even mean? So that's good.
Okay.
Yeah.
I thought you were going to go with a different one, but that's a good one. So with a name that you, yeah. Anyhow, so.
Oh, I had nothing to do with that one. Seriously, I had nothing to do with that name. That's literally the name they gave it.
Oh no, I'm thinking of a certain English company that's related to Daystate. I thought you were going to go with that one.
Oh, now if I had to give it runner-up, the 15-year-old in me would say anything by Brokaw, for obvious reasons. I mean, like, actually, the company's been around for a long, long time. Like, the name's been in the industry for a very long time. But just, why do you keep going with that? You know, it's really a question I have. I would love to ask somebody who knows why they've just kept that going. I mean, the English are absolutely more, like, seasoned, and like, they are a more regal people than we are as Americans. You know, so I get why they'd be okay. They wouldn't laugh when you say bro cock.
I think some of them might.
Do they? And then why would you want to be the commander of the bro cocks?
Well,
I get it's too easy. Like, nobody's even close. Whew, okay, sorry.
What I want to know about is who wrote the description for the Crawl Puncher Jumbo
What do you mean?
on the website.
Like the copy?
Yeah.
Oh, not me.
Have you read
Old
that?
copywriter. No,
I dare you to read that with a straight face.
Guess what's happening on camera? One look at this PCP's air tank and you'll quickly see why the Oh no. Oh, it's so bad. It's just the first line. I can't even make
And
it.
it gets so much worse.
One look at this PCP's air tank and you'll quickly see why Crawl dubbed this air gun the Jumbo. The Jumbo's enormous 425cc air reservoir is sure to satisfy shooters' craving for relentless shot strength. After filling, oh God, that's a grammatical error. After filling up the Jumbo, owners can expect. Oh, that's fine. Oh,
Yeah, you've read it. You've got it.
I haven't cried this much in a long time.
Oh gosh. I mean, who wrote that and who approved that?
Well, first of all, there's not really an approval process for the copy. That said, I know exactly who it was, and you'll be happy to know they're no longer with the company. Yeah.
I'm disappointed to know that.
Oh, that was good.
Well, I hope you enjoyed this series. Let us know what you thought in the comment section below. Make sure you check us out on our other social media platforms. Oh, they're coming to pick me up. Who does that? Well, it's been fun, guys. I did it all for you.